All right, what is going on, Coin Observatory? Thank you all for tuning into today's Power Hour. I'm gonna highlight some updates on BTC, Ether, and the entire market cap, as well as cover altcoins and take altcoin requests. If you guys in the chat, let me know if audio is good, video is good, and we'll go ahead and proceed. So I'm gonna get a video check and a mic check. Awesome. All right, well, starting off on BTC, I'm going to start with a 30-minute chart or so. We had seen this inverse head and shoulders setting up, and we saw this test of the neckline. As of now, the neckline is at that 3,700 mark. Just yesterday and the day before, I announced a small falling wedge here and a bull flag for a retest that broke out. And then we had a signal go on for the descending broadening wedge on BTC. And that one broke out right at the retest of resistance. And caused this big impulse move up. Now, as of current, I'm not seeing a solid formation yet, but descending broadening wedge has been the motto. We've seen a lot of these head turns, a lot of these impulses happen on a descending broadening wedge. It looks like we're starting to set up another one. Just right here, it's looking like another descending broadening wedge. I do believe if this resistance breaks, we're going to see a leg up. Now, more interestingly, there's another formation that I'm not a big fan of. If you go to the hourly chart, I'm not a fan of because we've seen these fail on the hourly when they're just a steep setup like this. And it's this falling wedge. And I posted in my notes about it, so if you're a subscriber, you know what to look out for. If you're a VIP, that is. We've had this falling wedge. It's not the biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of it. But the way we would validate that this falling wedge is real, that this breakout that we're seeing based on the smaller falling wedge and the descending broadening wedge, based on those, right, if this breakout for this wedge is real, then we should see a 10% upside target to 38.79, right? So hitting 38.79 would be the bullish scenario because that would put us above that neckline of 37.60, and a retest of that neckline is going to be a good thing, right? We've seen several inverse head and shoulders pull back to that right shoulder, somewhat retest lows, and we also saw this diamond top formation here that I spoke about, and I also mentioned this in traditional assets. So we saw the SPY do this and pull back. We saw the QQQ do this and pull back a couple weeks ago. And when I saw this, I said, hey, it's probably a good time to hedge. I've seen this diamond top. It did pull back to the 38.2 fib. And then both the SPY, QQQ, and several indices that had this formation, this diamond top for a pullback to 38.2 rallied to the 1.618 fib. I posted some notes about this as well. I'm not saying BTC is going to do the same thing, but there is correlation. There is quite a bit of correlation. We're expecting rejection a little higher here. Getting clear this and kind of draw out what I was referring to. If you guys have questions, shoot away while I set up this chart. All right, so this is our diamond top from traditional markets. There is quite a bit of correlation right now. And there had been some inverse correlation. Now we're seeing a little bit of a lag. So there's a bit of uncertainty in all markets, right? Which is an interesting point because of BTC's standing. So this was the diamond top I was referring to on traditional assets. And the way I fibbed this was swing high to swing low to get a 38.2 retracement and the upwards target. All right, so 38.2, two tests off of it, and then the target of 1.618. Why are you looking at Bitcoin for in the short term? So why is there correlation? Well, they're both markets, right? I'm not saying it's just the SPY. So sometimes there's correlations in markets, and it's explainable, unexplainable. It's whether it's used as a hedge or as a portfolio diversification, as markets made a yearly low late in December, right? And BTC definitely made a yearly low late in December as well. So the reason for the correlation, I can't explain it, but seeing this setup with a diamond top, and you think you pinged me about this in our chat, Lido, and having covered that, and I said, hey, this diamond top is the one, just like the one we saw off the SPY, so we can expect the pullback. It played out. So whether it is correlation or not, it did end up panning out. Going back to the BTC chart. And so why are we looking at the short term in BTC? Well, short term is going to show us trade direction for the next move, right? And looking at it in the short term, looking at it in the long term, you can put oscillators, we can do a lot, but things that have been panning out for us has been the intraday charts and looking at the trade setups, right? Because we're margin trading it, so you can't really margin trade a daily chart, but you can look for a setup or formation. So like this retest of this falling wedge right here for a breakout, for a descending broadening wedge, confirming another upwards move. And now we have this expanding. I'm not sure if it's a descending broadening wedge or not. I'm getting make it bigger. Still don't have keyed. I'm still not keyed in on this formation up here. That being said, it's these smaller moves that show us the trade direction as opposed to just looking at a daily chart. And these smaller short-term moves are showing us that there's a potential to close the inverse head and shoulders on the bigger chart. So if you go to the longer time frame, a 4-hour, then we've got our inverse head and shoulders set up. In the smaller time frames sort of tell us that there is a possibility of going up to these levels. Well, that answers those questions for Michael, Lido. What's going on, J6? All right, so ETH USD had a 7% gain yesterday. Go over ETH USD Coinbase. Had a 7% gain, so a little bit more bullish than BTC. Nothing I have spoke about several times is the fact that ETH is trading above that previous resistance. Right, so typically when this happens, get rid of this line. Typically when this happens, it's kind of an end to the ether bear, I'd say, and we saw 113 act as support twice. Now we're seeing another bull flag develop. So we can expect ether to rally up again. You just don't want to get stuck in an inverse in a regular head and shoulders up here, which would be troublesome. So Michael, where are you getting the shorts numbers from? Bitfinex? Mr. K, I will get to alt shortly. Let's go ahead and finish up BTC and Ether questions so we're not going back and forth. When I'm ready for altcoin suggestions, I will ask for them. Going back to that, you want a stochastic RSI. So Stoke hitting 20 on the daily. Here's the thing about oscillators, right? And people use oscillators for spot, like, oh, the RSI is at 40 or it's at 20, it's oversold. That's not why momentum oscillators were created. They're created to trade divergences off of, right? And if you're telling me there's a divergence here, there very much could be, right? And we can trade that divergence, or you've got a lower low on the chart, right? We got a lower low and a higher low on stochastic. Now that could be potentially some kind of signal, but just to say that, you know, it hit 20 and it's going back up, it's not how these indicators are supposed to be used. Let's look at BTC shorts. So shorts declining means, you know, shorts are essentially closing their positions. It's not quite a short squeeze though, right? We'd rather see a short squeeze because it's gonna really bring down the number of shorts. Shorts declining, saying, you know, there's less short interest right now as people are shorting BTC, but also Bitfinex shorts and Bitfinex as an exchange, their metrics ever since the Tether FUD, and they're still running a premium on BTC, I believe. So BTC USD on Bitfinex, we're looking at 37.20 versus XBT USD 36.28. So there's a $100 premium. That tells you that a lot of that volume, that interest on Bitfinex, it's not really a good measure for the market, for the number of shorts. Now, there's other resources out there that'll give us the short interest. I can pull one up, and it's going to be BitMEX shorts, right? And so there's currently more longs than shorts as of now. So long dominance is up. And that's just for smaller positions. You can go to 1 million plus and see what the big boys are doing. And it's about a 50-50 spread. All right. And that's just going to give you a better metric of what's going on. That's just from the BitMEX API. That being said, so it's a 50-50 between shorts and longs. All right, any more questions on BTC or Ether? All right, going over some altcoins. All right, you guys that are in the link trade with me, pat yourself on the back for 89%. This has been a pretty awesome trade. And it's broken this all-time high, and it's retested that resistance. I'd hate to be really bullish on a token, but if we were to just use this last swing to get more targets, because it's hit all of our targets, T1 through T5, you can get some more targets off this last bull flag. It's looking like it could head up quite a ways, right? I'm not saying it's gonna hit all these 4 targets. So, but if you're in link with us, right, and we passed T5 and you don't want to profit take T5, here's some new T1, T2, T3 to play the big swing. And you know, why am I saying it could rally this hard? Because I've seen tokens that have broken the last all-time high and they did surge, right? And the difference is this one's actually continuing to go up, as opposed to BAT, and when BAT broke that trend, it didn't continue upwards. It's also rallying on the Ether chart with an even more extended bull flag, right? And on this more extended flagpole, so we can really see a nice continuation. I'd expect a little bit more of a continuation from here. Just had this one pulled up, so I wanted to talk about it. Going over waves. All right, so there's a little bit of a triangle setup here. It's a reverse triangle. All right, probably going to 240, and we should have more full bars. Oh, maybe not. Looks like a possible diamond bottom, and there's a few diamond bottom breakouts that we just saw in the market, and I'll go over those. And it's kind of disappointed we missed them, but it's a good thing to look out for currently when trading. Let's go over fib levels from the last breakout. What is waves doing? So it's back at that. It's trading above this 61.8, so, and it hasn't quite closed above the 50. So at this point, I'd look out for another touch of the 61. If you get a turn over here, it could be an add. Break above would be a continuation. One thing that's different from waves to link is there's still a potential to pull back down here, right, to a longer term moving average and ride that for a bit. But then my shorter term MAs have closed, right? So it's a cross. That's typically a standby. You get out and stand by. Now we've seen tokens cross and cross and cross again. It's going to be over a longer time frame. Now, it's definitely lost momentum. When you see that cross on the daily, it's lost momentum. Is it going to recharge for a second leg up? You're going to have to wait it out at the 61.8 fib. All right, RVN. So Ravens in this trading range, we had a little bit of a breakout attempt and it got rejected. Volume is a little low on Bittrex right now. Volume on Binance is more interesting. Ravens, one of those tokens that in terms of structure really looked like early days of BTC, but it was moving a lot faster. You know, I think it's in a, personally, I think it's in a good accumulation range. It's in a good accumulation zone. As for momentum, are we going to see momentum come into this chart? Let's look at the oscillators, look at ADX levels, look at stochastic. There's a bit of a divergence here. We got a lower low, and we haven't really gone into the extremes yet. The ADX is at 10 or 11. So there's not really a trend, right? We're going sideways. But I wouldn't expect any trend acceleration to the downside at this point with ADX at this level. We want to see it flatten out. We also want to see price close above our longer term MA. We want to see the MAs start moving up for a breakout in a rally. All right, fam, you guys have any more altcoin requests? Facebook, YouTube. I have not covered LTC, though I did put out a signal on Litecoin a little earlier. Litecoin BTC is looking prime for another leg up. I still have my signal drawn out here. We've got this falling wedge, a little bit of a bull flag. It's actually not a bull flag, it's more of a, let's go to the hourly. So there's a falling wedge. It broke out and it retested. Now we're seeing the continuation. we should see at least a 10% move up. Sorry guys, my camera went down in just a moment. Not sure what's going on here. Well, we're gonna have to keep going without a camera for now. Sorry about that. Aiming for $35 on a USD pair. Let me check Litecoin USD. It's looking like a possibility. Absolutely. It's very much a similar formation as we're seeing on Litecoin BTC. All right, got any more altcoin requests? I'm still here, it's just the camera is frozen. I'm not sure what's going on with the battery. If you guys have any more altcoin requests, please go ahead and ask. You got plenty of time left over in this power hour. Nope. All right, well, guys, thank you for tuning in. Sorry for the camera interruption. I'm not getting any more altcoin requests. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop them in Discord. Tag me. I'll go ahead and answer them. Thank you for tuning in. And catch you on Discord.